sitting out.
And of course, the best show in Africa has officially started. Najua tunakaa poa kwa sababu vile tumejidress.
Of course, today there are no stylists or designers. We have dressed ourselves, and I think we're looking pretty good, Brian, if I do say so myself.
You're looking nice.
Thank you.
I'm impressed by you.
By the way, you guys, first time we are seeing Brian Aseli in a suit, and he is looking suave.
But then we're going to be starting this show. Of course, each and every Friday, you know that this is the best show there is. Hashtag Youth Cafe. You can follow me at Brian_Aseli.
And of course, Tandiwe_Yego.
Na pia kama unataka kutufuata at KTN News is how you can actually get a chance to get involved with us. And of course, the first period of the show, we make sure that you get to understand some of the things that are going around. This time round, we also have a discussion in the second segment
of the show. Yes, we're going to be discussing youth and leadership. It's going to be a very heated talk, so make sure you stay around to get that topic.
And of course, we have a Twitter poll question, and we're asking a very simple question. We are asking, are you proud to be a Kenyan youth? It's very simple. Hashtag Youth Cafe. Just go there, and you'll get an opportunity to just see the interaction. So if you're out there, the discussion is going to be very simple.
Yes.
We're talking about leadership.
We're talking about leadership, especially youth in leadership. Are we doing enough? Are we included in the leadership?
But let's start with this conversation.
Social media has been on absolute fire. Kenyans are pissed because obviously of this young Chinese man who decided that he was going to let it all out and let us all know exactly how it is. He feels about us monkeys,
and
Brian.
Of course, the keyword is monkey, and this guy seems to be a CEO of a company. And I'm telling you, it's super crazy in Riro. So if you actually look at this clip, tell us how you feel. So someone recorded it, kidogo kama ameficha, asijulikane na record. And of course, it was a conversation in between an employer and an employee. So it's actually true that the employee was being fired, but how he was getting fired, it really speaks about what the Chinese thinks about us. Take a look at your TV screen right now and be the judge of it all.
You can report him to the police, or you can take him to court if he was unfair to you. Yes. Why are you diverting your anger to me?
Really?
Yeah. It's like you are punishing me.
Because you're Kenyan.
So you are punishing me because
everyone, every Kenyan, even Enna, again, this is all the Kenyans, like a monkey. Even Uhuru, Kenyatta, all of them.
It's like a monkey.
Yeah, sure.
The president of this country.
Yeah, sure. You can go to court and tell me who has the evidence. Kenyans like an actor, you know. Just speak is cheap, speak is cheap. I also can like a Kenyan, you know. So this is what I'm saying. I have to give a letter to you. You have to sign. Only later. I can go to court.
Judge, I think you should go back to China.
Really? And why you have to stay here?
You see, even if you don't fire me,
no, I will fire you after I go back to China.
That no problem. I will not work here forever.
Sure. You should not do the business with Chinese, no?
But whatever you are doing is extremely wrong.
I don't care.
You don't care?
I don't belong to here. I don't like here. Like a monkey people. I don't like talk with them.
Interesting.
Wow, that is absolutely crazy. I, for one, am very, very proud to be Kenyan. Shame on him for even daring to talk about our beautiful, beautiful culture in such a manner. Of course, if you are just joining us, this is Youth Cafe. Welcome to the show. Of course, I'm your host, Tandiwe. You're going to have Brian Aseli right over there. And right now, we're going to get deep into our discussion today, youth and leadership. And we have our guests. I'm going to let them introduce themselves kindly.
Okay, hi, my name is Irene, and thank you so much for having me. I am a lawyer and a political strategist.
Okay.
My name is Captain Ian, a pilot and a motivational influencer with a real zest and the motivation to motivate young people because they're getting lost.
I'm motivated already. I'm motivated already.
We need to put them back on track. Okay. That is my mission.
All right.
Captain Ian.
Yes.
That is super, like you're so energetic.
Absolutely.
Girl child hapo kidogo.
Yeah, so atachangamka, relax, give a kidogo time.
But of course, we just want to dive into this conversation, and of course, it's youth in leadership. And I'd like to ask a simple, it's just like a blanket question to this conversation. If you're out there, tafadhali, hashtag Youth Cafe is what you need to use right now, and tell us if you're proud to be a Kenyan youth. And especially, the first question would be very simple. Do you think that the youth, in your own opinion, do you think that the youth have been given enough space in leadership positions?
Not at all.
Yeah.
If I may begin. No, I feel we're not being given the opportunity, and we've made ourselves even believe that. We don't have that will and drive to do things the way we should be doing it. We do not have responsibility ourselves because we've been made to believe so. From when we were young to where we are right now, I think we've been suppressed too much and told, no, look at your fathers and mothers do it, and your chance will get there maybe some day later in life. No one is believing that. We are the leaders of tomorrow, but we need to start today. There's a problem there.
Speaking of which, I just ask you a follow-up question.
Yeah.
They always say, we are the leaders of tomorrow. When is tomorrow?
Tomorrow will never come, and I don't believe that we're the leaders of tomorrow.
Tomorrow will never come.
Because you see, tomorrow was today, and tomorrow will be tomorrow, and tomorrow will forever be tomorrow. So I don't like to hear the term youth are the leaders of tomorrow. And I think we're the leaders now. We're the ones who are pushing for change. We're the ones who should be pushing for change. We're the ones who should be making the loudest, because we're the least represented, and we're the most disenfranchised in this country and even in this economy. So no, we're not the leaders. We're not represented. We are underrepresented and completely disenfranchised.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the employment situation in the country. We know that unemployment is at an all-time high.
Yes.
However, contrasting, SMEs, MSMEs are the backbone of the Kenyan economy.
Yes.
Almost 80% of the economy is driven by SMEs.
Yes.
So where are the youth in all of this? Shouldn't we be the ones who are starting these small enterprises, these small businesses? So where are the youth in all of this, and how can we start to push ourselves, to drive ourselves to be the ones to create all these new innovations and be creating small businesses?
Great. If I may start again, here's the thing with us young people. Again, I'll repeat that we've been suppressed, and we've been taught that, listen, wait for your turn. Here's what's happening in Kenya. There was a joke that came up that in the United States, when you go looking for a job, you're told, let's see, what are your skills? Then when you go in the UK, they tell you, where are your papers? In Kenya, they tell you, who do you know? There's a problem, There's a problem. It's, we're not being given equal opportunities with the skills and the papers, There are a lot of young people who are great, but their greatness is just potential, and it's hidden treasure inside them. Now, unfortunately, they lack the will and drive. There's a problem because every time they want to come up and do something, they're suppressed. Every time they want to come up and say, this is my thing, they're told, listen, you have to go to school, pass your exams, and then they're told, well, when you fail, you'll not make it in life. Misconceptions that we need to do away with. So any young person watching me today, I'll tell them this, that if they have a vision, an idea, go for it. Failing academically will never dictate your life. Your life and your future is in you. It's within you. Do something about it.
Do something about it.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to ask a question.
Yes.
Why is it that often when we ask about, when we say the word youth and leadership, most people think that it's political leadership. What are some of the other spheres that the youth can be able to delve in and like actually play a role in leadership? Because the younger you are, the more energetic you are. But in Kenya, they say that the younger you are, the more naive you are. It's a blanket statement often used. I'd like to just get a feedback on the same.
Leadership is not limited to political leadership. We have leaders in religious spheres. We have leaders in the business environment. We have you don't need to even be called a leader or to have a title. Just being you and just being an example that is enough for you to be a leader. And also, I'd like to go back to the question she asked about SMEs and small businesses. And I'd like to say something that has been said over and over, that we cannot entrepreneur ourselves out of bad policy and bad governance and everything. And the young people are being blamed constantly. We are lazy, we are this, we are that, and the other. However, the policy has failed us, the government has failed us. It is difficult to operate a business in this country because it is so expensive. Right now, with the fuel prices going up, it is so expensive. So the people that will feel the brunt are the people who consume. And most of the people who are consumers are young people, because we still don't have the, we still cannot afford to produce or to manufacture. We are coming out of school, we are still in school, so we're going to be hit the hardest. Yes.
On the same, let us get it right. What is leadership? You see, leadership does not begin when you're given the task at hand to perform. No. You see, one of the greatest reasons leaders are unsuccessful or failing is because they have not learned the art of actually leading themselves. They cannot do their jobs well in terms of what? Family. Your family is where you should start your leadership skills. If you cannot handle your family, you have no business trying to manage anything else. If you cannot manage something so small, how are you supposed to be tasked by something so big and so great? You should start wherever you are, the small responsibilities you're given, start managing them well. For that thing you're going to be given that big and great responsibility, you will know what to do. That is leadership.
They often say that history is like a wheel. Chances are we're going to fall on the same lap of the path. And I'd like to ask a question. Isn't the life of a youth wired to be repetitive? In that, each and every time, go to school, finish from 4, go to college, finish, look for a job, earn a living. Do you think that earning a living should be the only thing that we get out of our careers? Because there are so many people who are in careers and there is no satisfaction. And I believe if you're not satisfied, in as much as maybe you may get the money, the value for the money you get, which is a little, because it's said that only 10% of the 85% of Kenya's 85% population is unemployed. Only 10%, sorry, only 10%. You know, the Kenyan youth are 85% of Kenya's population, and only 10 in the 85 are employed. And of course, most of the people are not in jobs that they studied for. So where do we get, what do we get from these jobs generally? Before I answer, what should we get?
Let me just answer it. I like the way you've put it. Like I think you've romanticized it in a way, because the country we're living in right now, we've all been reduced to survival. When you talk about doing, going to school to get a career, to get a job, that is survival. And I don't know how many of us are going to get out of that rat race unless we have a change in government policies and we have a change in how we do our business within this country. So unfortunately, that's what we've been reduced to. It's survival. It's not living, it's not prospering, it's not anything. It is survival, and that is where we are stuck right now. And we'll be stuck here for a long time. Yeah, unfortunately.
To add on to that, because that is a beautiful answer, the misconception is that we were hatched, that you're going to be matched someday, and then dispatched. What do I mean? You get born, go to school for education, someday get married and get kids and get a job for some money and die. That is not the reason we are on earth. It's that misconception, and we've been taught that at home, unfortunately. Listen, we have a purpose on earth. There's a reason you are created and put exactly where you are right now. Going through whatever you're going through, I have to spiritualize this because there's no other angle towards it. Is that you are created for a particular reason. So many are struggling with spiritual matters because they don't even know who they are. They do not realize exactly their purpose on earth, and they're not following it. And that's why they are lost. A lot of young people are lost into what? Oh, getting jobs. And they do not even know the purpose of employment. I know today we're not talking about employment, but let me say this, that the purpose of employment is not just to earn the money, but to improve your skills and also to build a name for yourself. So that if anything happens, if you're sacked, you have something with you. You've built your skills. You've come out with greatness. So that someday if you're given a leadership position, you know, I am not just working for the money, I am working to achieve a certain purpose.
Yes, indeed. All right. So we're definitely going to need to look at some of the opinions of some of the young people and what they think about this issue. So let's take a look right now.
my youth hawajakuwa well represented, and also kwa leadership kama youth si about kwa politician, juu leadership na believe kama inaanza kwenye kila mmoja iko. So my youth hatujakuwa bado well represented, because also inafaa kuanza na sisi ku take your responsibility ya ku take leadership, and also kuna vitu mingi tunafaa ku learn, juu na believe kama before kwa the top kwa leader kuna vitu mingi wazinafaa kwa zimefanywa.
I don't think we are well represented in the spheres of leadership, because when you look at most people and most places, even in our offices, it's just more of the elderly rather than the youth. Yeah, so it will be a good thing if you have more youths in leadership. Then we'll have more ideas, more new ideas, and a greater Kenya, a greater Africa.
The youth have not been represented well, because what we are having right now is kazi kwa wazee, basically, other than kazi kwa vijana, compared to us being the leaders, giving us the opportunity to being on that post. Because, I mean, these elders will at some point, go away or retire or, just move out of those positions. So then, which youths are we working with? If they are not there, who are you mentoring at the end of the day?
Tuko represented. Hizo posts zote, wazee wamezifanya, wamedominate hizo slots zote. Alafu unasikia story nyingine imehappen huko UG, story ya Bobi Wine na Museveni. Museveni chenye naweza afikiria aliona vile Bobi Wine alikuwa na say sana kwa my youths. Alafu ni consider population ya Uganda, majority ni youths. Sasa Bobi Wine, Museveni akaangalia akaona Bobi Wine na venye ni celeb kwa mayouth atakuja kumoverturn, tuseme kuoverthrow, lakini atakuja kuandie akona say sana Uganda kuliko president wa Museveni. So Museveni akaona amzime, unaona, akamweka under arrest, akafunguliwa mashtaka ya treason whatever, unaona.
All right, definitely some very valid points from our viewers. So let's listen and take a look what you want to say.
Yeah, I always look at these young people saying and giving all these comments about we don't have equal opportunities. But I just have a question just before we continue. Do we trust ourselves really for this leadership position? Because when a young leader stands and says, I want this position, you know what people say behind the backs? He's not experienced enough. He does not have the political experience. And we have been suffering that in Kenya for years, saying, oh, he does not have experience and he does not have the money, he will steal, so let us go with the old school. Are we really ready to vote for these people who are going to make this change as young people?
All right, so now we're going to take the story to Uganda. We're going to be talking about Bobi Wine and the situation that happened to him. We all know that he was really just trying to stand up his voice, and he was shut down by the government. He was physically assaulted. He's right now in ICU recovering from various physical injuries. And it was interesting to see so many young people take a stand. So many young people come out and say this is not right. Tell us how you feel about that situation.
Okay, what I feel is that young people just want to be heard. We just want to be represented. We want to know that we matter. We matter to the government. We matter to ourselves. We just want to know that we matter. And what I feel is that young people have nothing to lose. We are angry, we are frustrated, and we have nothing to lose. And that is a very dangerous place to be. So the governments must be careful, not because where we are like on a tipping edge, on a tipping point. And if the government is not careful, it might just blow up into something really, really ugly. Because we are unemployed, we are frustrated, we are angry, and we just want to be heard. Whatever it takes, we just want to be heard. We just want to be represented, and we want to know that we matter.
You've said something very important.
Yeah.
We are on the tipping edge.
Yes, we are.
Of course, maybe in Uganda the situation is not the same, because if you tax even your credit and your bundles and your everything, I think you actually fight to the bitter end, but then the government catches up with you, and this is exactly what happens. Take a look.
Is to speak out for those hundreds, if not thousands, of people that have been brutalized. I got injections that I don't know about, and I spent quite a long time on cuffs, shackled both hands and legs.
The former musician, also known by his real name, Robert Chagalani.
It's, if I may describe it, it's preposterous, it's horrendous, ridiculous.
In layman language.
What Chinese even explain, it is wrong. Bobi Wine was born in 1982 and he qualifies to be a young parliamentarian. And I was very happy, by the way, seeing East Africa community stand up and say, you know, this is very wrong. When I said the young parliamentarians in Kenya saying it's wrong, it's wrong. You know, it is time for a paradigm shift to badilike. Kuna shida, because these people who are in power just do not, like I said, there's suppression. And this is one of the best examples of suppression. Bobi Wine, before he became a parliamentarian, you remember, he started this movement called Uganda. You remember that?
Yes.
And they used to help a lot of those guys from the slums. But someone sees that as a threat. And it's so sad that these days we talk of, these leaders are talking about, let's do away with this person, and they will take lives. It is so wrong, and we need that paradigm shift. But we as young people, we need to stand, not only the young parliamentarians, even us. We cannot watch these things happening and say, hey, even at Azizi, naona kama we will be killed, we will be tortured. No, no, no. We need to stand and, you know, take our voice up there. We must be listened, we must be heard. You said we are 85% young people in Kenya. I bet in Uganda is almost the same. So I don't know why
to say, because according to the United Nations research, 50% of Africa is below the age of 35.
Wow.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the same. So what does Africa need to do to be able to build itself ground up? Because one, do we have industries?
No, we don't.
Two, did we skip an era? Because if we skipped industrialization and we are now in the social media era, we're going to be tweeting about things we don't own. All phones are made outside the country, but the question is Africa a ready consumer and not a producer?
You see, the problem we've been seeing, I think in my opinion, the way Kenya is being marketed, it's not being marketed for the Kenyans. It's being marketed for everybody else but the Kenyans. So now the young people with ideas and young people with things to do in this country will not have an opportunity to do it. Because when the country is being marketed for foreign investors and other people and other tourists and all these other people, we here, our industries are crumbling because the Chinese have stakes, right? So they will give us money. In exchange, we get market for their products. Right now, our markets are flooded with their things, with their products, with everything, yes. And when the government talks about the Agenda 4 and creating industries, yet we've seen industries collapse. The cotton industry, the paper industry, all this would have created jobs for young people. But I don't think they're serious about young people. I don't think they're listening to us. I honestly don't think they care. Yes.
We're going to take a commercial break. Na tukirudi tafadhali, we're going to get all the information about the youth and leadership. We're just getting started. And of course, you can keep on tweeting #YouthCafe. Follow me at Brian_Seli. Follow Tandiwe at Tandiwe_Yego. And follow KTN at KTN News. Take a short break.